Vikings and Panthers about to get started. The football will be kicked by Carolina to the Vikings to start. Let's go first, though, down to Tracy.
Jim, Cam Newton will have his favorite target back in Greg Olsen after he re-aggravated that foot injury. Watched him in warm-ups. He looked good. Ron Rivera saying no limitations there whatsoever. They also get back center Ryan Khalil, who has not played in the game since week 7. The problem is that the Vikings are dealing with a banged-up line right now, and their center, their star rookie, Pat Elflein, out with a shoulder injury today, and they are also without Mike Remmers. He'll miss his 5th straight game. This line, one of the strengths of their team. We'll see how they fare today, Jim.
All right, it's a big thing to watch. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, Carolina defers. So Graham Gano, who has the best touchback percentage in the NFL this year, puts the toe to it. We're underway, and he's going to get a touchback to open things here in Charlotte. And we'll bring out Case Keenum and the Minnesota offense. Keenum zeroing in on a 3,000-yard season. Look what he's done here in the last 3 games. Just spectacular numbers, Tony.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and like I said earlier, this is a tailor-made offense for him. They get him in bootlegs. You're going to see a lot of play-action type passes. Pat Shurmur has morphed this offense with this offensive line in him, and it's perfectly set up for him.
Well, he's going to come out in the shotgun. Murray returns to the backfield. Keenum has a streak coming in of 15 straight completions, which is 1 completion away from tying the Vikings completion streak record, but he's going to run it with Murray spinning around for about 2, maybe 3. And Tracy tipped us off about the changes on this offensive line. It's a big thing to watch today. Reef at left tackle, but Easton slides into the center position for Elflein, the rookie who's played so well, out with a shoulder. That brings up Searles to left guard. Thielen, what can you say? Pro Bowl and beyond, great numbers. What a success story he has been. 2nd and 7. And look at this play all over Murray right away is Julius Peppers. He was attacking Murray like he was a quarterback, trying to get another sack. There he is at age 37. Peppers in the backfield in a hurry to drop the running back for a loss of 4. Kuechly, the captain. And a secondary that includes Bradbury. Bradbury is on Diggs for this snap. Bottom of the screen. 3rd and 11. McKinnon has come in for Minnesota. And Keenum's pass on the way. He's got it, first down. Kuechly upset with himself. That is Thielen for a pickup of 12.
You're going to see, we talked about it in the opening, Case Keenum's ability to move. Just watch him slide in this pocket. He's going to feel the pressure, and he's going to look downfield. It's a 5-man rush, not a lot of space, and he slides up, and he buys time and allows Thielen to get into a soft spot. And you see there's a lot of room when you rush 5 in there. Good job by Thielen coming back to the ball to give him a window.
So they needed 11. They pick up 12. A first down at the 36.
Go. Right 20. What's that?
And again, a carry on first down. And again, the Panthers are on it right away. McKinnon is dropped back 4 yards by Addison. That's 2 tackles for 4-yard losses. 1 by Addison, 1 by Peppers.
You're going to see right here off the edge, just the edge rush right here. They're going to penetrate. And you see Minnesota quickly getting on the line, Jim.
2nd and 14. Drop back time for Keenum. And he goes down the field, and he is intercepted. He is picked off by Worley, who's trying to find Thielen again.
It's an out and up. Thielen gets behind him, but Worley gets his eyes around. Carolina with the big play.
Minnesota's first turnover in 35 drives, so 1 pass after tying the Tommy Kramer franchise record with a 16th straight completion. Keenum throws what is just his 6th interception of the year. And now the Panthers' first snap. It's Newton keeping it, and Cam stretches it out for a gain of about 6. Cam, who fought shoulder issues at the beginning of the year, now healthy, running the football a lot more. He struggled, though, against Mike Zimmer in the 2 times that Zimmer and Minnesota have played him. He's been held to 10 and 13 points and 1 touchdown and only 1 touchdown, 4 picks.
Well, Zimmer's one of the rare coaches who will adjust weekly depending upon what your skill set is. And he knows that Cam Newton is what this offense forced through.
He's got Jonathan Stewart as his running back. Opened up with a 6-yard run to Newton. Still got it. Able to complete it. Short of the first down marker. That was Waynes on the tackle, keeping Bird short of the first. And again, Khalil's missed, 10 of the last 11 games. He's up today, so the Khalil brothers on that offensive front. Matt on the left side, of course, coming into the league as the 4th pick by Minnesota back in 2012. And there's Olsen, who's missed a lot of time as well. Spent 8 weeks on IR, tried to come back 2 weeks ago. Missed last week.
I'm anxious to see them today with these guys healthy. Olsen provides a whole new weapon for this offense.
3rd and 1. And they run it straight ahead. Oh, breaking it. No one in the secondary. It's going the distance. Jonathan Stewart. 60 yards.
That's exactly what Carolina needed to do. Run the rock today. Make Minnesota defend the run. Watch right here. 4 guys, all offensive linemen on the right side for Carolina. And they're just going to wash the right side down. And bad gap control integrity by Minnesota. That's a monster play in the beginning of this game. Carolina needed that. Make Minnesota play the kind of game they don't want to play.
Graham Gano out for the extra point. Came on a 3rd and 1, whistles first.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, retry.
That's the longest play allowed all year long by the Vikings.
Well, you're not going to see that maybe again the rest of the year. Minnesota's outstanding. They're disciplined. They're well coached, all these things. The difference was Carolina gave them a brand new look. 4 offensive linemen to one side. That's very rare, if ever, if you find it in the NFL. And when you do that, they just didn't adjust right way. You got to align a little differently.
So now a 38-yard extra point attempt, and it is good. Before that 60-yard burst, Stewart's longest carry of the season had been good for 18. This went for 60, and the touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. And by the all-new Accord from Honda.
The sculpture outside the stadium of the founder and principal owner of the Panthers, Jerry Richardson. Has to like what he just saw from his team, a takeaway, and then 3 plays later, a 60-yard run for Stewart, his longest run in over 3 years.
That play was a great design by this offense. That's how you get Mike Zimmer. You got to give him something new, Jim. He's an outstanding coach, and give Carolina credit. They wanted to run the football today. It's a great start, and they got a turnover too.
You know, it was only the 3rd Panther to come up with a pick this year, because they had 5 only coming in as a team, 3 of them by Kuechly and 2 by Mike Adams.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, that's how they need to win games. That's how they've always won games, when they're at their best.
So Gano with another touchback. And that scheme fooled them here on 3rd and 1.
Well, no, we see tackles over. You don't see tackle over. Like there's a center and then 4 more linemen to the right of the center. And that's just, I mean, I actually can't remember the last time I saw that. Give Carolina credit for a great design.
A back flop into the end zone for Stewart to celebrate, and now Minnesota's second possession.
Hey, we're good, we're good. Okay. Right 20. Attack.
Keenum completes it for 6 over to Diggs. Case Keenum, I mentioned, it was only the 6th pick he's thrown all year long. He's been virtually mistake-free. Coming out of the University of Houston, where he set all kinds of records that still stand. Yardage and touchdown passes thrown in his decorated career, but he was undrafted, and he bounced around between the Texans and the Rams, both St. Louis and Los Angeles Rams. And now 8-2 as a Minnesota starter. Here he is on the bootleg. Now going to plant the feet. Oh, he ducks under. He's able to pick up one. You mentioned before the game began, you showed us how he can move around in the pocket. He saved a sack that time.
Yeah, big time sack right there. That would have cost them probably the drive. You see Kuechly comes upfield. He's got him right. Oh, that doesn't happen very often. Case Keenum, well done getting underneath that and getting back to the line of scrimmage. Horton provides the pressure on the outside. These guys are outstanding on 3rd down, Jim. Leads the NFL.
Keenum now leaves the pocket. He can rush for it and picks up the first. It is an amazing thing. The Vikings, their numbers on like 3rd and mid-range, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 are extraordinary. And overall, as you said, they're #1 on 3rd down in the league on both offense and defense.
Yeah, they are, and that's a rare thing. We're going to talk about that more. To have both sides, that tells you they're going to have a shot to win the whole thing. And that right there, his ability to extend the play with his legs. On 3rd and 4, you look at the guy or two who are covered, and then you move. That's why having a guy who's an athlete helps.
That is a rare combo to find right there. That is a winning formula. And the Vikings convert that time for a first down at the 38. They go up the middle with Murray, and that's plugged quickly after 3. Latavius Murray has been running hard here recent weeks. He's had 5 touchdowns on the last 6 games. His 3rd leading rusher actually in the league over the last 6-game span. And quickly to the line come the Vikings again. 2nd and 7. On play action, Keenum open. That's Thielen at the 45. Keenum so tough in play action this year. His numbers are off the charts.
Well, and you see a great play action. It's a good job by Keenum. Just watch as he sits in the pocket, and then Thielen goes right up and stops, and the ball's right on him. And this play action game is outstanding.
Picks up 15.
Really good.
Yep. Thielen had a hard time handling that at first, but secures it. Now more play action. Keenum goes to the right side. He's got another first down with Diggs. And we've got our first update of the day. Let's go back to JB in New York.
2nd drive of the game for the Lions.
Yeah, Theo Riddick will take us from 2 yards out to put Detroit up 7-0. Also a 27-yard pass reception from Theo Riddick from Matthew Stafford. Detroit up 7-0 early in Tampa Bay.
Back to Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson.
All right, thank you, fellas. The Lions have been reeling since Minnesota beat them on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. Here's a first down carry. That's McKinnon picking up good yardage. He's got about 8, maybe 9.
It's something to watch. This is about the 5th time that Carolina has sent pressure on first down, Jim, and they're doing that because they're trying to do run fits. In other words, they're not going to let you get yards on first down. They're trying to get a minus play, and it's well done so far by Minnesota in gaining yards.
Some confusion about who should be on the field as 3 players were walking off and 1 runs back in on a 2nd and 1. It's McKinnon again. That was well blocked and no one near him until he was 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage, and a first down after a gain of 6.
Yeah, and you see no pressure that time out of Carolina. Carolina's going to pressure. See just the front 4 right here. And those 4 guys are the only rushers, which creates a lot of space in there for Kuechly has to make the play, and does. But you'll see a lot of pressure coming from Carolina in these early downs, more than normal, just to get these guys off the chains and staying ahead of it.
Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator, putting together a drive for this team, trying to bounce back after giving up an early touchdown. Now in the red zone on first down. Keenum with time. Just throws it away, saying everyone downfield was well guarded.
And you're seeing Minnesota with so many different play actions. I mean, this is one drive, and you've probably seen it 3 or 4 times, and that's how they create their chunk plays. And that's why Pat Shurmur, you know, is a head coaching candidate. I mean, just allowing his quarterback to be successful, putting him in good situations.
This team in the red zone struggled the first half of the season, Tony, but after the bye week, they've started to pick up in a lot of ways, finishing off red zone possessions. See what they can do here. 2nd and 10. Jarius Wright has come onto the field as an extra receiver. Keenum down the middle he goes, and in the end zone, it is caught by Rudolph for the touchdown. 18 yards, Keenum to Kyle Rudolph. And that's his 4th touchdown in the last 3 games.
Look at him go right up. He goes inside of Adams, and Keenum with a perfect throw over the top. And those long arms of Rudolph, you think you overthrow this guy sometimes, but he just goes up and gets it and makes it look easy. Nice having a big target like that.
It's a good catch, too. He had Panthers all around him. He has more catches than any player in the league this year without a drop. That was his 51st reception. No drops. Extra point is good by Forbath. Season of Rudolph. He had 2 last week. He's got another one today. Case Keenum has thrown now 12 touchdowns in the last 6 games, and Kyle Rudolph is becoming his favorite target. He had 2 touchdowns at Detroit, 1 last week at Atlanta, and now 1 here today. That's 4 touchdowns on the road in 9 quarters.
He's a touchdown machine for him. Over the last 3 years, everyone knows about Brock. He's right there in touchdowns with him.
Here's the run back by Bird with a flag out at the 30-yard line.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 34. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Tonight, he has one of the most dangerous occupations in the world, running for president against Vladimir Putin. Plus, one of Hollywood's most famous leading men talks about not fitting in. That's tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. So the Vikings just put together a touchdown drive, picked up 5 first downs along the way to cover the 75 yards in total. Of course, Carolina just 3 snaps before breaking 160 for the score. They got McCaffrey in the game. And Newton design play, it looked like, keeps it for 2. Wrapped up by Tom Johnson. George Edwards is the D coordinator here. There's a lot to love about this defense, including the likes of Everson Griffin. Some think he's a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year in the league. But you got other playmakers on this defense. Kendricks is their leading tackler. Over 100 tackles already. Of course, in that secondary, Xavier Rhodes, brilliant last week against Julio Jones. Harrison Smith, one of the best safeties around. 2nd and 9. The pressure, pass, caught. What a catch. Tough grab, but Burson able to hold on to it for a gain of 17.
Oh my gosh, did you see this catch? Stands it, throws it, and he goes way up, Burson to get it, and that's a catch, I think. Oh, Sendejo with the head. He hangs on to that. That's unbelievable to hang on to that ball.
Just his 3rd catch of the season. Recently re-signed. Here's Newton with all kinds of fakes and trickery, going deep and over the head of everyone. Trey Waynes on the coverage of Kalen Clay. How about the weather in Buffalo? Let's go back to JB and the coach.
Hey, Jim, won't be easy in Buffalo.
Here's Adam Vinatieri. He misses this 33-yard field goal, but he should be used to this weather. The conditions in Buffalo call for 6 to 12 inches as a result of lake effect snow.
Wow, Jim, it was good to play in as a kid, not sure as a pro. Back to Jim Nance.
Yeah, you're right, JB. We're saying, hey, we were there last week. Thank goodness. Not this week. 2nd and 10. The flag's out. Newton is taken down at the 21 by Linval Joseph. And it's against the Panthers and will be declined. What? Face mask call.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Offense number 75. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
That was on Matt Khalil. Again, he has his hands full today going against his former practice opponent,
Watch
Everson
his
Griffin.
hand right here. You'll see Khalil, the hand, he pulls down Everson Griffin's face mask right there, right in front of the head up, and that's an easy one to call.
How many times they've tangled through the years, but not for real.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a tough matchup for Khalil today. And you know, Cam Newton drops back an extra. He gets to 10 yards deep, which is a little deep sometimes. He needs to step up sometimes to help that tackle, especially today.
3rd and 16. Over to McCaffrey. One wiggle and sets free. Flag out. Picks up only about 5. And could be a face mask call against Anthony Barr of the Vikings.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 55. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That is a tough one for Barr, because watch, he's right here, and McCaffrey's so quick that you really aren't trying to grab his face mask, you're just trying to grab him. But he gets that one-step stop, and Barr just a killer penalty when you got him in that kind of a situation.
Yeah, you get him on a 3rd and 16, and they're able to get out of it because of the penalty. And a first down across the 40 for Carolina. Here's Stewart, his first handle since the touchdown run. And he's got a gain of about 2 into the arms of Eric Kendricks. What is it about this defense that you like so much at Minnesota?
Well, they're good on all 3 levels, on the front, on the back end, in the middle, and there's no matchup where you're like, ooh, we're going to really go here and attack this. And at the end of it, Mike Zimmer might be one of the top 2 or 3 schemers as a coach. You know, he just really, within his system, they're very disciplined, but he will change it up from one week to the next. And today, you're going to see 8 guys around that line of scrimmage a lot, even in passing situations like this one.
2nd and 8. Cam in trouble and not going to get away. Brought down by Griffin. And a flag comes out. Griffin says, what?
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 97. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, let's see right here. Does he grab his face mask? He puts his hand on it, and I think you got to call it because you put your hand on it, but I don't think you ripped it. Let's see here. You got to call it. That's a penalty. You can't. He turned his head. They're going to protect the quarterbacks, even if that one was little.
So a second face mask call against Minnesota moves the football over to the Vikings side of the field. Griffin, who had 3 sacks of Cam here last year, almost had one but taken away because of his penalty, and McCaffrey carries it. And he got about 5 with that one. By the way, Thursday night, Denver takes on Indianapolis. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. So McCaffrey will line up as the running back with 3 receivers in tight on the left side. And they toss it to McCaffrey. McCaffrey fights for that first down, and I believe he's going to have it. He got stacked up. The ball was kind of juggled for a moment, but he holds on, and it is a first.
It's a good flip, and you see it's good blocking on the outside. But Carolina letting him get up to about 4 or 5 yards before he gets touched. First down and 10.
They've got Olsen lined up. Well, he's going to shift over to the right side. He hasn't been targeted yet. And it's McCaffrey, 3rd straight carry for the rookie out of Stanford. And he's got a pickup of about 4. So McCaffrey taken 8th overall in the draft, and you mentioned he's the top rookie catcher, pass catcher of the season. He leads this team in receptions, more catches than, again, any other rookie in the league this year.
He has more than his dad had this year, too, it looks like.
Yeah. His dad had a few, though, through the years, for sure.
See how they move him out? He was in the backfield right there. Now they're trying to get a matchup.
2nd and 6. Here's the heave, and the target is Funchess inside the 10 and a catch.
It's really good coverage, but it's a better throw. Cam Newton throws a back shoulder on the sideline. Xavier Rhodes, a good coverage, but Funchess has come on lately as the #1 receiver. He's in. And they got him playing the X, which means that he's the single receiver when you're on these 3-by-1 formations where he's the one guy on one side, he'll be over there, and sometimes the running back will be by him.
Now here's where Olsen's always been so tough through the years. 1st and goal, shotgun time for Newton. And he decides to keep it and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Funchess, since Benjamin was traded a month ago, he's playing a position that's more natural for him now, Tony, and he's come up with big numbers in the 4 games since Kelvin Benjamin was sent to the Bills.
Yeah, he's turning into their, really, I mean, the offense flows through McCaffrey, but Funchess is their #1 receiver now, and he's really a good route runner, and they want him to be a little bit better on some of these big plays down the field, and you saw it right there. That's how you score points. Chunk plays.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pepsi, welcoming you to the fun doesn't end zone. And by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Some shots from Freedom Park here in Charlotte as we welcome you to quarter #2. Jim Nantz with Tony Romo and Tracy Wolfson. The Panthers right now on a 6.5-minute drive, and they've got 2nd and goal coming up from the Vikings 5.
Watch a little motion by McCaffrey here. They like to move people.
They run it with Stewart. Driving. And they were trying to rip it out of his hands to no avail. Picks up 4, so he's just outside the 1. 3rd and goal coming up.
And you're going to see a lot of cool little trickery out of Carolina. And they do all this, and then all of a sudden they run like a jet sweep, end around, Cam Newton run, an option, zone read. It's tough to game plan for.
I would think so. Could give you fits trying to figure out what they're going to do here. They bring, once again, Taylor Moton in as an extra lineman. He was in on the 60-yard touchdown run. 3rd and goal. It's Stewart. Stacked up, driving, and he takes the Vikings with him. Across for the touchdown.
Oh, we got big boy football today so far. Stewart gets right up in here and he gets stuffed right before. You see a good job by Joseph keeping him, and then just the extra effort. Get a little push by the lineman, effort, keep those legs moving at the bottom. Joseph has him.
I'll tell you who helped push him across to Chris Manhertz. The backup tight end was helping shove from behind and move his own player and the pile across. So 2nd touchdown for Stewart. His first multi-touchdown game since November of a year ago. They're just double checking upstairs to confirm the touchdown, that the knee was not down. Stewart, who had touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks. Watch 82 here from behind too, pushing. And gets that extra little last minute.
He's in, that's confirmed, yeah.
No doubt. The point, no is good. So this drive assisted by 2 personal foul calls, face mask calls, including one on 3rd and 16, ends with another Stewart touchdown. Well, it's a good day to have Jonathan Stewart in your fantasy lineup as the playoffs fast approach, or maybe for some of you they're beginning this week. But Jonathan Stewart with 2 touchdowns, giving him 4 in the last 2.5 games. And now another kick I can know this one will be returned. Not very far on the return. And talking about playoffs, it's interesting in the NFC. At 8-4, you got the 6th spot. There's so many in contention. Unlike the AFC, where 6-6 gets you the 6th spot right now. I mean, there are some really high-quality teams like Carolina that are fighting for their lives right now.
Yeah, you're not kidding. They're right in the middle of it in the South, and then, you know, there's the division title, there's the playoffs, there's the wild card, and you never know how these top teams end up. I mean, you're seeing right now the 10-2 team is losing on the road, and all of a sudden, 1-2 games. Philly loses last week. Everything's in play.
So Keenum changing things up as he steps back in. Again, he's got a new center today, Nick Easton. Out of the gun, the pass is wide of the mark, going for Diggs. By the way, if Minnesota and Philadelphia both win out, it would come down to a strength of victory tiebreaker. And right now, it's leaning toward Minnesota. It's not a guarantee that that would hold up, but that's how tightly contested things are right now. By the way, a flag was thrown well after that last play.
Yeah, I think he got there early. Davis grabbed a hold of Diggs, and we'll see if they make that call.
Pass interference, defense number 58. Automatic first down.
I mean, it's the right call. They're very late on the call, let's be honest. That was a very late flag. But Thomas Davis is going to grab a hold right in here. Right there, that left arm, he rips it. And that's a flag. Diggs will run another 10 steps.
So first down at the 30. Play action, Keenum down the seam. Oh, and well, we said he'd never dropped one all season long. Rudolph should have had that one. Something you can't say very often at all.
And really, it's a bust right here, and just gets over the top, wide open up the seam, and Rudolph's going to really hate to see that one in the meeting tomorrow.
Might have lost that one in the sun.
There's something. He doesn't normally drop them, especially when they're right out in his hands in front of him.
Again, that's the first drop all season for Rudolph. Here's a 2nd and 10. Coming over to Bell. Bell, well defended. Held to only one. We got another update coming out of New York. JP and Coach Cowher have it.
A sense of urgency for KC.
Yeah, watch this pass right here. A screen pass to Travis Kelce goes for 16 yards. It will lead to a 1-yard Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown. Their first rushing touchdown in 9 games. KC up 10-0 early in the second quarter.
Jim, Tony, Tracy.
All right, thank you, fellas. Yeah, the West in the AFC. 3 teams coming in tied at 6-6. 2 of them meeting right there. The Chargers, the other team.
They're coming after him. Let's see what he does to pick up the protection.
3rd and 9. Yeah, they bring a whole bunch. Keenum gets it away. And no flag intended for Treadwell. Worley, who had the pick on the opening drive, was in to defend this one.
Well, Worley knows he's got a pressure by his safety on his side. You see the safety blitz, linebacker blitz, and when they do that, the ball has to come out, and Worley sits on the route.
Now quickly to punt. Just the first punt of the game for either side. This will be returned. That's Clay. Taken down by Bell. So Cam Newton coming back out with the lead. 14-7, Panthers in front. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. And this year's nominees from the Vikings and Panthers are Kyle Rudolph and Greg Olsen. Both players so involved in their communities with their various charitable efforts. And this year's winner will be announced at NFL Honors the night before Super Bowl 52. You can learn more about all of this year's nominees by visiting NFL.com/Man of the Year. Rudolph and Olsen. Of course, Greg's been a finalist before, making it down to the final three twice. And a salute to both of those players for a job well done. Here's Newton on first down. Heaves it. And was going toward Olsen with that throw. Incomplete. And let's go down to Trace.
Well, thanks, Jim. You mentioned the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees. Well, this week the NFL announced that every winner will wear a special patch on their jersey. Panthers star linebacker Thomas Davis wearing it for the first time today for winning the award back in 2015. He said just truly an honor to have that patch on his jersey, Jim.
I think that's a great thing, too. So they'll wear it from now on. Those who have won the Walter Payton Award in the past. Here's a 2nd and 10 running play. And that is Jonathan Stewart for about 4. Did you not win back in college a different Walter Payton Award?
Yeah, that was a combination of, like, it's kind of like the Heisman at 1AA basically, but it's also the Man of the Year combined with the Heisman. Also, like, possible best husband one day.
Yeah, all these
best
things,
teammate.
right?
There's a lot of things in one. So, you know, just got lucky there. Won it 4 times in a row.
Somewhere in there was best Division I AA player also factored in.
Yeah, so it's
3rd and 5. Newton completes it, but I don't think he's got the first. See where they spot it.
I think he's just short. Yeah, they're going to spot him short.
That was Bird with the catch.
And you see, watch, he's going to run up, and Bird's going to go inside. And he's got the first on his route. The ball is right there, and it's just an excellent job on the tackle. I believe by Waynes, and you see the, yes, right there. Good job.
And they
just
bring
short.
out Pilardi to punt. They're not going to wrestle with this decision for very long.
See, they were trying to snap that fast right there because the Vikings didn't have their guys. But when you get new guys on the field, the refs have to hold the ball.
So Pilardi boots it down near the 10. Sherrills, ball out, scoops it up. And fortunate to have possession at the 10.
Fortunate indeed. This has not been a good start for the Vikings with a lot of different strange things happening. Hat on the ball.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. AT&T. And by Macy's.
We've seen some great touchdown celebrations since the NFL relaxed the rules this season, including the Vikings Duck Duck Goose touchdown celebration. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve today if they find pay dirt or get pay dirt again. Here they are on first down.
You're seeing Minnesota adjust. Pressure again out of Carolina on first down. They're doing that to stop the run. Minnesota trying to get the ball out.
That's Murray for 4 off the pass from Keenum. You know, maybe they ought to have at the NFL Honors, that should be a category. Best touchdown celebration. Ooh. What do you think? I mean, it's all about trying to have a little more fun.
I think you just came up with something.
Why not?
You're changing the game, Jim Nance.
Well, got to. Change the culture. 2nd and 6. I like it.
It's a good idea. People love it.
That's Murray trying to get the edge and steps out about 2 yards short of the first. Rudolph throwing a block on that side. So the Vikings possession chart, they got intercepted on their first possession. Then the long touchdown drive, 10 plays. Then Keenum to Rudolph from 18 yards out. The last time they had it, 3 plays and a punt.
Yeah, but that should have been about 50 yards because they dropped the seam route. This could easily be 14-7 the other way with a couple of face mask penalties, a seam route. Carolina in great position. Got to get this protection right, Case, and get everybody blocked.
The number 1 team on 3rd down takes the snap on 3rd and 2, and they go deep to Diggs, and it's out of his hands. Stripped out of his hands by Captain Munnerlyn, who played for the Vikings the last 3 years. Coming back, though, to Carolina, where he started.
You see Diggs, and you see right there Captain Munnerlyn. Diggs bursts off the line and is open, but ball just a little behind. And Munnerlyn, great job getting his hand in there and ripping it out.
Look at Captain right here, who played at Carolina from 09 through 2013, 5 seasons. And he kept his home here. His family never left Charlotte while he played up in Minnesota, and that's the decision that factored it into his decision to come back here. Quigley's punt gets the fair catch. Clay with the catch after the 45-yard punt. Munnerlyn celebrates a breakup. So the best drive start for either team. Panthers begin this next series at the 36 and leading it 14-7. Defense has held Minnesota to only 19 yards rushing. So let's see what Carolina can do with the lead. With a flick across the middle, there are 3 Vikings in the area. That was trying to find Funchess, and Olsen had that broken foot. He's limping off toward the sideline.
Just a good play. Ooh, that's... And he's shaking his head. No. Ooh.
Well, he was on IR with a broken foot for 8 weeks. Tried to come back, then off IR at the Jets, but that was just not a good playing surface for him. He lasted about a quarter, then missed last week. They didn't want to put him again on the artificial turf. Thought the home field, the grass would be good for him. 2nd and 10. Ball tipped away. What a play by Rhodes.
That's an impressive play. Rhodes guarding Funchess right there on the route. You're going to see him put his hand, and you're going to stay in that back hip, and then drive over with your left hand. Might have grabbed barely his right side there, but perfect timing with the left hand going up.
And that's the big question right there. They're going to need Olsen. Although Ed Dixon's done a fine job as his replacement this year. But Olsen's been such a big part of things in recent years at Carolina. Such a threat. One of the best in the league. 3rd and 10. Pressure. Newton somehow got it away. And that's Manhertz with the catch. But he stopped about 3 yards short of the first. That was Mackenzie Alexander who was applying the pressure coming up on a corner blitz.
Alexander off the edge. You're going to see right from this side. Cam does a good job sliding up and getting out and throwing, but just not enough time to get the ball down the field. And that's Zimmer right there. He's going to make you throw to certain spots.
So no punts in the first quarter. Now our 4th punt of the 2nd quarter, which we're just a little more than 5.5 minutes into. Velarde, Ron Rivera was effusive talking about what a great season he's had. Charles to return. Charles, who had a punt return here last year for a touchdown, is contained on a 9-yard run back. Greg Olsen just had his foot retaped, and he looks anxious to get back into this game, but it's Minnesota possession now. Down by 7.
Like 20! Attack!
And they break a good one for about 7 with McKinnon. And for more on Olsen, let's go back down to Tracy.
Yeah, Jim, right now he's just running up and down the sideline. He went right over to the training table after he came off the field, told the athletic trainer, just wrap it up, put some more tape on it, told his position coach, I'm good to go.
Here's Keenum escaping and getting it to Rudolph. Wow, for the 2nd time he's able to duck under a hit and make a play, this time for 13 yards. Captain Munnerlyn had him.
He had him, Munnerlyn off the edge, and look at Keenum, whoop, right underneath. And I'm telling you, that's the difference in this offense. His ability to move and create, and look at the calmness right after he makes a miss.
That was an amazing play. I don't know how he ducked under Captain Munnerlyn, who's 5'9", but he did. 1st and 10, and the pass over to Rudolph again near a 1st down. So Rudolph with his third catch for 41 yards and a touchdown.
Let's go. Like 20. What's that?
McKinnon with a nice little move of his own picks up 8.
And McKinnon getting a lot of reps, and you see Olsen.
Again, if you're just joining us, as we talked about, saw him hobbling off the field, the foot injury, the whole IR thing where he missed 8 games.
That's the same foot. They're working on the same foot where the injury came from. And I mean,
hard to believe the way he walked off the field or limped off the field, he could possibly return.
you're exactly right. It looked like it's in nagging.
Second and 2, and McKinnon's getting away. Makes a second cut to take it inside the 20.
That's 2 open field cuts right there where people are in position to make tackles, and that's when you get game-changing players. McKinnon showing off 2 times in a row here. Watch. Seymour has him dead to rights in the backside, and just McKinnon just using that athletic ability. They use him all over the place. The passing game, the running game. You see a timeout by Carolina.
30-second timeout.
Timeout called by Carolina. McKinnon getting a little work on the neck area. He's got 6 carries for 43 yards. His first carry was for a loss of 4. So 5 for 47 since that time for McKinnon.
And look at, I mean, you have him. They have another pretty good one on IR they're going to have back next year.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook.
And he's special. This is a very deep little unit.
This is where McKinnon got a little stinger at the end of this. But Dalvin Cook went out with an ACL early in the season, but showed flashes of why they think this guy's a star in the making.
You're not kidding. And you got him, McKinnon, Murray. I mean, this is a deep unit at running back for Minnesota, and that's going to prove to be beneficial here as they go forward.
So the timeout got a chance to get actually McKinnon back onto the field. First down play over to McKinnon, and he's not able to hold on, probably for the best for Viking fans, because K1 Short was right there ready to set him back about 3.
You're going to see Short on a little stunt off the side right there. And it's a great diagnosis by him, because if he doesn't see that, it was the perfect play call versus the perfect coverage. That would have had a chance of scoring.
2nd and 10.
They're coming after him. They're going to be a blitz off the edge. Keenum, does he pick it up?
Over to McKinnon. Decked right away by Thomas Davis. Holds him to 4. It'll be 3rd and 6.
See the real speed there. That's the NFL, how quick everything happens. Bang, bang, get the protection, get out, get the ball out, tackle.
So we over and over again talked about their high conversion rate on 3rd down and how extraordinary they've been on 3rd and 5 to 7 in that range. Numbers way past the 2nd best team in the league and the league average. They have that scenario right here. Keenum completes it, but stopped short. Thielen with the catch. Bradbury there to deny the first down pickup.
Great patience by Bradbury, because Thielen is difficult to guard. He's going to go up right here, and he gets to go in and out, and he goes out, and Bradbury's patience to determine which way he's going to break, and then to drive and make the tackle, saves points.
So Kai Forbath comes out. He's 24 of 28, but look at his start versus what's happened here in recent form. 2 of his last 5. This is 30 yards. And the kick is drilled. 14-10 now, Panthers. And we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. It was a 62-yard drive by the Vikings. 9 plays setting up the Forbath field goal from 30. again, can clinch the division today with a win or losses by both Detroit and Green Bay. Bath with a deep kick, will not be returned by Bird. Look who's coming back out. Yep, Greg Olsen. He had a chance to see the Vikings up close a few weeks ago, Tony. He was working as an analyst for Fox during the Vikings-Rams game. Some Vikings folks that didn't really think that was a great idea because they knew this game was looming on the schedule and that he would be back by then.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much some of that inside information really matters. I mean, you don't get stuff where it's like game planning for this week specifically and how they're going to attack you. And you can just turn the tape on and see what everybody does anyway.
First down run by Stewart, who's having a big afternoon, and he's got 9.
This is how you beat Minnesota, though. You pound them. This is your best bet, because if it's a passing game, see, well done by Norwell right there creating the hole. And Stewart finishing it off, running right behind me. Look at that hole. And this is a formidable front they're doing against.
Here he is again, picking up the first down. Little jump cut straight ahead for 4. Stewart now has 85 yards on 7 carries. Minnesota has not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season.
I got a good bet they're going to allow one today.
It's going to be one today. Of course, 60 coming on that touchdown. John in the first quarter. George Edwards' defense is second total defense, second rush defense, second in points allowed. Best on third down, but they now get up 157 overall. Yards, that is, to the Panthers, who pick up another one here with Stewart. Jonathan Stewart, this franchise's all-time leading rusher, established that earlier this season, moving past D'Angelo Williams. Picked in the first round all the way back in 08. Something you don't see that often. An old running back. You know, by position, he's an old guy.
Yeah, and I feel like he's been here. Remember, they had the two-headed monster, him and D'Angelo Williams, all those years, and he survived it, and he's still playing good ball.
2nd and 9. Cam still has it. Looks to toss it. Nothing's there, and he gets taken down by Hunter.
You see, these designed quarterback runs have been very successful recently, but it's going to be tough in this specific game. You're going to see fake, run the option, and you see how slow Hunter is to play that, and perfect.
Well, the first part of the season, of course, he was still coming back off of a shoulder that kept him out a good chunk of the training camp.
Yep, and now they've ramped it up. They've needed it. They've needed it on themselves. They're not creating chunk plays down the field. They got the one to Funchess earlier.
3rd and 10. And it's a heave way down the field and no one there. Funchess in the area, plus a couple of Vikings, including Rhodes. And that'll bring out Pilardi, and Minnesota will get the ball back here outside of 2 minutes to go in the first half. And they are the highest scoring team, the Vikings, in the entire league in the last 2 minutes of the first half.
Come on.
You'd think it'd be New England.
I was going to say, I thought we just said that last week in New England.
It changes.
Jeez.
In fact, they're 1, Carolina's 2.
Quarterback's playing well. Good system. Good talent around him.
Short punt, though. And Charles able to break a couple of tackles out to the 33. Of course, New England hasn't given up any points in the last 2 minutes. That's what you're thinking about.
Yeah, they're also really good on offense.
Yeah, they have a guy that knows how to do it a time or two.
Here he goes. Vikings, they have to be feeling semi-comfortable because of all the miscues, they're down 4, and you see it over and over again. That was the end of a drive right there, face mask. End of a drive again, face mask. And then down the field, those points. That's points. If Rudolph catches that, you're going to be in field goal range probably. And they're down 14-10, so you got to feel good. Now, Carolina feels good because they're controlling the running game a little bit right now.
Although McKinnon was starting to heat up on that last series. On first down, Keenum fans it around. Here comes the pressure. Got the pass away, and it's ruled incomplete. He was not down. The knee was not down before he released it. So he saved some yardage.
Carolina on the back end covers everybody, and you see the TE, we call it, where the end and the tackle switch, and short, and Latulele get there, and look at Kuechly covering Thielen, and by the way, he gets to hit him because the quarterback started to move.
2nd and 10. And they give it to McKinnon for about 3. And Kuechly is all over him in a hurry.
Now, if you're Minnesota, you want to take this down to the 2-minute warning. Don't want to run a snap here. 3rd down. You got all 3 timeouts. Don't give them more time.
Yeah, they're going to definitely wait for the snap on the other side. 3rd and 7 coming up out of the break. We're at the 2-minute warning, and you're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army.
Well, there you see it, Tony. In fact, the Jets and Baltimore, the 3rd most points in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Minnesota, if it wants to add to that total, 3rd and 7.
You see way back there, Carolina. You can't even see him on the screen. He's so far back there.
Can they convert? Pass. Caught. Got to make a move for the first, and does. That is Treadwell.
It's a good read by Keenum, getting the ball out of his hand, allowing Treadwell to get the first down. Now you got plenty of time, no rush. You can get up, you can hand this off, you can throw a screen.
With pressure. And again, he tried to throw it, and they say that's got to be an incompletion.
Well, there's
2 officials are looking around saying, did you think it was a pass? Did you think it was a fumble?
I think he's down. I mean, watch this. I think his knee hits the ground right
close.
There. That's really close. It's in the final 2 minutes here, so they're going to have to take a peek at that, I think. That's close.
I see Ron Rivera and some of there's Ron. Before that, some of his staff were saying somebody upstairs needs to review that.
The previous play is under review.
So was the knee down before the ball was leaving the hand?
Pause it right there. It looks like it's about down right there. You could see it, maybe right there. Yeah, I think he's down. I think that ball is in his hand. Right. Oh, go back just a little bit. Right there. Go shin down. Is that in his finger?
Man, this is fractions.
So the shin, you see the shin there? That counts as a knee. So it's not just the knee. So go.
That's Julius Peppers, by the way, who's on him, trying to add to his incredible career sack total.
If they're looking at that shin looks down right there. That ball's in the hand. If you're looking at knee, you could maybe argue, but really that shin's, it looks down. Now it's got to be conclusive to overturn it. To me, if you're siding 70-30, he's down, but you could easily say it's not conclusive either.
After review, the quarterback was down at the 37-yard line prior to losing control of the football. It's 2nd down.
Now
so Terry McCauley and the crew will set him back here about 5, make it 6 yards.
The clock's about to run now because it's a sack play, so the clock should get ready on the ref's whistle, which is a good job by Minnesota being up and ready at the line of scrimmage.
Do they want to rush with 1:36 to go?
Well, what's going to happen is there going to be 10 seconds also is going to run. Minnesota should probably take a timeout here to save the 10 seconds.
They've got 3 timeouts.
There's.
And the clock will start on the ready.
So he didn't take the timeout, which tells me he's not positive he's going to get the first down. That's not the worst decision. That's pretty good by Zim, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure they wanted to rush it necessarily here with Carolina with 2 timeouts and a 2nd and 16. As Keenum steps up and takes off. Cuts back middle, and he gets within a yard or 2 of the first. It's about a 14-yard scramble by Case Keenum.
Get up and hand the ball off, Case. Just get up on the ball and hand it off. It's 3rd and 1. You'll surprise the defense. Hand it off real quick and then use your timeout.
He's got McKinnon as his running back.
They have good numbers to hand it off.
Going up top instead and picks up the first as Treadwell makes his 2nd 3rd down conversion catch of this drive.
Wow, what a catch right there, Treadwell.
That was a big one.
That was. And perfect clock management. Timeout by Minnesota.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Garmin. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. They have the scores, the highlights, all coming your way on the Verizon halftime report.
Okay, Carolina, they're right in that field goal range. You can, right now, Minnesota's looking at you, trying to call it the protection. They get up, see who's blitzing. Doesn't look like a big blitz. Davis might cover the back and hug rush.
So on 1st down, Keenum again steps up and takes off. He's got another 1st down. Has had the head turned sideways for a moment.
Don't use your timeout yet. Get up on the ball. You see right at the end, he's running, he's going forward. That's okay.
It was Kurt Coleman who hit him on top of the helmet.
Take your shot right here.
From the 19, 1st down, Keenum to the end zone and no flag. No, there is one. There's a flag now at the 5.
That could go either way.
Pass intended for Treadwell.
It's really close because they were both pushing.
Pass interference, defense number 27. Automatic 1st down.
Called on Kevon Seymour, and Treadwell, who's come up big on this series, able to draw the pass interference call. And that spots the football at the 4.
You see, he grabs his arm right there. You can see that. And then at the end, Treadwell with the push off. But Seymour was holding them all along the way.
So with 25 seconds to go. Rolling out. Keenum on the run. Should have been caught. Thielen. Can't believe he didn't hold on. That's on me, he says.
Yeah, that was on him. Perfect ball right in corner pocket here. The end zone. Oh, that's just a throw and catch.
That's a touchdown.
Ball gets right up into his body. Hits his.
Yeah. He can't believe it himself.
Body, yeah. Bradbury gets a reprieve.
But still, plenty of time. You got the 2 timeouts. In 20 seconds, you can run anything here.
I'd sneak a run in here. If you look at the box, you can run this football to the left.
He's looking left to throw and throws. Rudolph catches it out of bounds. Adams on the coverage.
Let's see this one. This ball's up in the air. Pretty good throw. Tipped. Adams gets a tip on it.
I tell you, the tip really made the play.
Yeah, it did.
Mike Adams in his 14th year.
Perfect time. Just great defense.
So now, 3rd and goal from the 4. Keenum throws back to the end zone, and this time it is caught. Thielen makes up for it. Touchdown, Minnesota.
It's a corner route. Thielen over the top of Seymour, and the throw's good. We're gonna have to see this because it's close.
Control's gonna be a big question here, Tony.
Let's see his feet. Knee is in. Now watch the ball. Elbow. Ooh.
See, he juggles it.
Carolina might get this one back.
The previous play is under review.
Boy, it's going to be an interesting call. Because he's cleanly got it.
He bobbles. I mean, the ball bobbles in his hand as soon as he hits the ground. So he's got the catch, hits the ground, bobbles, comes back in. By the time he gets possession, He's out of bounds.
This is the best view right here, Tone. Watch.
I mean, based on the rule, that would be hard to say that's a touchdown. But they've been calling a few this year where they're getting a little softer, I feel like.
And if it's taken away, 10 seconds to go, it'd be 4th and goal from the 4. You just go ahead and take the 3, really.
Yeah, from the 4, you just kick the field.
After review, the receiver did not control the football. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
Oh, Zimmer was not happy. Hey. He said, not you, and Thielen. Well, Thielen had 2 plays on that drive in the end zone right there to finish.
I think if there's any rule that upsets more people in the league than anything is the what is a catch rule.
Yeah.
Because it's interpreted so many different ways and it doesn't seem to be consistent. But 22-yard field goal try coming up by Forbath. And his second field goal of the quarter brings it to 14-13.
I do think they're getting better. I think Al Riveron's done a great job since he's been in. I feel a lot more consistently from the games that I've done and we've done. We feel like I get a sense that if it looks like a catch and feels like a catch, they're calling it a catch. You know, and if they're like, if it's obvious, that one's a little more obvious to me, where it's like as soon as he hits the ground, it just comes right up, and by the time possession, he's out of bounds.
Coming up, the Verizon halftime report again. As you see Davis going in a little early, JB, Coach and Phil, Nate and Boomer. What's Thielen thinking right now? He had the one that was a certain touchdown, that was the easier catch, and he did a good job trying to bring down that one in the corner. Well, he's 3rd down.
I mean, he's a huge weapon for these guys, having an outstanding season, great route runner. He's very competitive. He's the always open guy, which means every time he comes back to the huddle and you threw somewhere else, you're like, hey, how'd it look? I was open.
But that's every receiver, isn't it?
Not everyone, but the guy pretty much. I mean, I told Witten, I was like, if you're always open, then I'm never going to actually think that you're ever open when you tell me you actually are.
So that ball scooped up and returned out to about the 28 by David Mayo. It's a 14-13 Carolina lead at the intermission. Vikings with 3 red zone trips, 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. And Carolina deferred at the start, so the Panthers will receive the 3rd quarter kick. See Keenum running in a moment ago, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. Newton threw for only 57 in that first half. By the way, Cam Newton rushed for 6 yards in that first half. Case Keenum, 34. Who would have thought Keenum would outrush him?
Well, we said he can move.
Yes. So that's the end of the first half with the score. Carolina 14, Minnesota 13. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Vikings and Panthers getting ready to start the 3rd quarter with Carolina on front, 14-13. A good first half of action. This is kind of the game we thought we might have here today.
Yeah, we thought it would be a high-scoring 35-30 type game. I mean, 2 outstanding defenses, but this game has so far at this point been about a couple of like unique plays. You know, a big run here, a big catch there, a big drop here, a face mask. That's been the game so far.
What are you looking for in the second half? Who do you think goes into the second half with the advantage? Obviously, Carolina leads it right now, but where do you see the momentum right now?
Well, Minnesota at this point has controlled really, other than 1 or 2 plays, the game. It's just going to come down to whether or not, we said at Carolina, can they create that big play 1 or 2 times in this game to offset the advantage that Minnesota has up front.
It was only the 3rd time this year that the Vikings trailed at halftime. Horvath gets quarter number 3 underway with a kick to Bird at the 4. Just brought up, signed this week, and Bird's been busy in this game, seen a lot of action, special teams and on offense. Out to about the 25, and let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Jim, Mike Zimmer telling me that they are beating themselves. They're making too many mistakes, whether it's the penalties, the drops, or the interceptions. But he feels really good about his team and how they are moving the ball. As for Ron Rivera, he said their third down defense is really struggling. The biggest thing, though, is he wants his guys to tackle Case Keenum lower because he just keeps sliding underneath, and they're not getting the sacks. Jim?
Yeah, Case with 4 carries for 34 yards and dodged at least 2 sacks in that first half, to Rivera's point. There's the handoff to McCaffrey, who has been quiet so far in this game, wrapped up by Tom Johnson. What about the matchup we foreshadowed at the top, Griffin and Khalil?
A lot of help. You see, right now, Khalil has had a lot of help in this game. Whenever he gets a one-on-one matchup, though, as you see Griffin right here, he's still really difficult to block. But so far, the Panthers have done a great job of chipping, moving a tight end, running the ball right at him. See if that can continue.
And again, these two have tangled so many years in practice at USC, and when they both were on the Vikings, going at it for real today. 2nd and 11, ball out quickly. McCaffrey slips through a tackle, as he often does, and has a first down. McCaffrey's best play of the game. He got away from Harrison Smith.
Yeah, that's hard to do. Griffin got a straight shot. McCaffrey's really hard to tackle in the open field.
Takes that reception for 15 yards.
You saw Griffin, the protection. Cam has to get the ball out of his hands as it's broken down.
Let's go, even Derby! Coffee. Hey, watch it out. To that.
And it comes around to Shepard. Russell Shepard for about 7 on the end around.
That's the key against these guys, the eye discipline on defense. You're going to see a fake right there and then a little pitch back on a reverse.
You see Olsen out there trying to throw a block, who Greg has not caught a ball in this game. And again, went out for a brief spell. Looked like he had re-injured that foot that kept him sidelined for 8 weeks on IR. So working his way back into it. 2nd and 2. Now Jonathan Stewart returns. He had 87 yards in that first half, including the 60-yard touchdown run. This time he's going to get back a couple. That is Sendejo coming up to help out Joseph. Panthers in that first half. Again, the Stewart touchdown run from 60 out, and then Stewart from a yard out, and then punted their last 3 drives.
Man-to-man coverage, outside leverage.
On 3rd and 3, Cam's pass caught. It's Bird. Bird with the catch, and out of bounds at the Minnesota 33. It was Mackenzie Alexander trying to make a play on it. Thought it might go over a pick.
Rhodes has got to have outside leverage, and he takes his guy, and all of a sudden coming up from the top is Alexander. And Alexander just doesn't get there. Look at that. You got to stay outside on your leverage. It's a good route by Bird, and that was a big play for Carolina.
Damiere Byrd with his 3rd catch of the game. And Carolina has 3 plays of 20+ in the game. Vikings without one. Vikings' longest play was 18 yards on the touchdown to Rudolph. Flag out as McCaffrey struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Usually that's illegal formation on a motion like that. You're trying to change direction, get the defense further ready. Someone's got to get set.
Illegal shift, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the Panthers are the least penalized team in the league and have been assessed the fewest penalty yards, but that's their 5th of the game for 47 yards penalty yards.
So there's two options there. One, you can't be going toward the line of scrimmage. And that right there, you know, Burson, he could have been going. The other one was before he started his motion, I believe that not everybody was set for Carolina. One of the wide receivers was still getting set. And that Burson has to eventually get set as well. Can't have two guys in motion.
First and 15 back at the 38. Set up screen to McCaffrey again. Able to sidestep a hit, but loses two. On him in a quickly is Danielle Hunter. And they have taken, at this point, the Panthers probably out of field goal range on the penalty and then the loss of two. So 2nd and 17, we'll see.
They're daring right now, the Carolina Panthers, to throw the ball outside the numbers. They're man-to-man out there. They're daring them to just take it one-on-one outside. They're going to do it again here. You see right here? No safety help.
Back at the 50, throwing it down the field and connecting with Funchess for the first down. 2nd and 17, and the play goes for 19.
Got to give credit to the staff. They block up that whole left side. You see the tight end Dixon helping on Griffin, and then Cam fires the ball to Funchess. It's Trey Waynes, his outside leverage.
Great looking throw by Newton, who certainly, as you said before, takes a deep drop. He's back almost 10 yards on that last one. McCaffrey backed up. There was Joseph on the tackle. So 2nd and 7 coming up from the 18. Newton is 4 for 4 on this drive, and that last pass was a beauty.
They needed this drive right here because they, you know, had 57 yards passing. You see that in the first half. Needed to get a rhythm going. I know they had a couple of splash plays, but they need to keep this Minnesota defense on the field. Start to wear them down.
Second and 7. Vikings rush 4. Newton spins around, throws it away. Joseph, who's made some plays on this series, was the one who forced Newton to try to improvise.
Yeah, I thought he could have went to Greg Olsen there. He was one-on-one outside. He had a chance for that, and he looked to the other side of the field. Cam did, and then got flushed. He's going to have to take advantage out there. That deep dig you saw earlier, Minnesota's not changing this defense up. They're daring him to throw it out there. Same coverage again, 3rd down. Outside leverage man-to-man.
Got to get to the 11 for a first. Newton's got time, now he's breaking down on him. Backpedals to get away from it. Off his back foot, he finds the man wide open. Funchess for the touchdown. Just when it looked like there was nothing there, Newton saw that there actually was.
You're going to see him by time. Griffin gets up the field, Hunter gets up, and they both have him, and he just skates. And then the ability to keep his eyes downfield and trust his receiver. Outstanding play.
Funchess with his 4th touchdown in the last 5 games since Kelvin Benjamin, who, by the way, scored earlier today for the Bills, since Benjamin left. Yes, knocked it in. Touchdown and an 8-point lead. This marks the Vikings' biggest deficit since week 2 when they lost against Pittsburgh. And here is the best team in the league on 3rd down defense, talking about Minnesota. All 3 touchdowns surrendered today came on 3rd down. As Carolina has a 2nd touchdown drive over 6 minutes.
You're going to see right here Funchess, and Kendricks gets over there because of the pressure, 5-man rush, and he just gets caught peeking in the backfield. Kendricks got caught peeking in the backfield, and he lets Funchess go by. And you got to give Cam Newton the credit there for just extending that play and allowing Funchess to get open.
Boy, has Funchess really stepped up and proven that he was worthy of the trust they were giving him when they decided to make that midseason move.
Well, he's a great route runner. He plays the X now, which means the single receiver. I think they're pretty happy with that move.
Keenum and the Vikings, first play of the second half, and he was hit when he threw it by Addison. And now a ball. Are they going to say it's a fumble? What's going on here?
Yeah, no whistles. So.
Mike Adams has the football.
The ruling on the field is a fumble by the quarterback.
Ruling on the field is a fumble.
I'd be shocked if this stands up. Let's see. He's definitely got to hit the arm and the ball probably.
I mean, that's a throw.
You know, that could be a fumble.
Under review.
This is close. That ball gets hit, so it moves in the hand. But it kind of stays in the hand.
It was so deceiving because it comes out looking like a pass. I mean,
yeah, that's why I said I'm shocked. But look
yeah.
at him. He moves, he hits the ball.
Boy, immediately too, Addison was feeling that it was a fumble and was making an appeal to his teammates to pick it up.
What you're saying then is that they're moving the ball in his hand and it's going for it. That's going to be a fumble.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a fumble and recovered by Carolina. First down.
What a call. This is what Carolina, who has not had, this is not the same as a few years ago when they had all those turnovers and created the short fields for their offense. This is how you get the offense, you know, to score more points. You give them short fields. Big time play by Carolina.
It's the first fumble I've ever seen that spiraled.
Mario Addison, big time play for him.
From the 31. What a start to the quarter for Carolina as Cam throws it too hard and almost caught on the rebound. It was Dixon first and Shepard had the play on it, incomplete.
Only today that would have just gone for a touchdown. It's a bootleg and it's too high and out in front. Goes through Manhertz's hands and Shepard had a chance at that. Oh, you got to catch it. I mean, it's like you just walked it to him. They call this sudden change now. This is a huge thing for defenses. When you get all of a sudden a turnover happens, you got to go out and just get a 3 and out, let them kick the field a little bit. Sudden changes are huge.
Here's the 2nd and 10 handoff to McCaffrey with a hole for about 7, maybe 8. So 3rd and a long 2 coming up. Yeah, this Minnesota defense comes out of the locker room, yields a 6-minute touchdown drive, and one play after the kick, they're back out on the field again.
You got a couple guys. Rhodes. You can see Terrence Newman on the other side of the field. They're banged up. See Rhodes. Oh. His own guy got him right there on the side. Couldn't tell if it was Harrison Smith or
I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to miss Xavier Rhodes here on a 3rd down. Again, the Panthers have been 4 out of 8 on 3rd down, and all 3 touchdowns again have come on 3rd down. Alexander comes in for him.
Well, we're going to see if they attack. Got Alexander in there. Wayne's up top. Terrence Newman in the slot.
Cam peeps. And the Vikings wise to it. Griffin was never fooled, and his teammates finished it off. And that'll bring out Gano.
Well, you see they're playing single high man-to-man coverage so that everyone can get up in the box, and they let the free safety get down in there. Everyone has gap control, and they're playing for Cam Newton in big 3rd down situations. They know they love to run him there and down in the red zone. Good discipline from Minnesota right there.
Here's Gano, who's made his last 25 at home. It's from 41 out. In fact, he's only missed once this year. 23 of 24 overall. From 41 away, the kick is good. 10 points here in the quarter by Carolina.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Haynes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Degree day here in Charlotte. Bright sunshine. Wintry conditions yesterday in the area. But you see what Carolina's doing here. Leading by 11. The Vikings have run one play in the third quarter. 10 points put on the board since the intermission by the Panthers. By the way, next week, doubleheader day on CBS, and early, most of you are going to see Cincinnati at Minnesota. And then late, some 90% of the country will see what they're already calling the game of the year in the regular season. Jockeying for the 1 seed in the AFC playoffs, New England at Pittsburgh. All starts at noon Eastern time with the NFL today. New England, Pittsburgh, it's going to be the talk of the week. We're going to be there next week.
It's going to be a good one, and you know, both those teams know they're going to see each other at some point.
Yeah, hey, 59's a mic. Yeah. Side. Hey, 59's still the mic. Like 20. That's it.
Vikings come out with a handoff to Murray. Hit, bounce back, and a loss of a couple. Hey, the Cleveland Browns today putting up quite a performance. Let's go back to JB and the coach.
Jim, might we see win number 1?
Yeah, Deshaun Kaiser's third touchdown of the day. You're going to see right there, hitting Corey Coleman, 21-7. They lead right now over the Green Bay Packers.
Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, fellas. On 2nd and 12, that's Ham with the catch. Of course, Green Bay's been practicing Aaron Rodgers all week. They needed his team to win this game at Cleveland today and then try to bring him back next week so that he could try to win out and get his team in the playoffs. But they're not doing part 1 of that today right now at the moment, losing big at Cleveland.
Boy, that would just disrupt all their plans, you know, with Aaron, and who knows that if Aaron comes back and plays, if he should chance it. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
3rd and 3. Here's Keenum completing it to right for the first down at the 40. So now finally this Minnesota offense has a chance maybe to get its feet set again, get a little rhythm going.
Another good third down play. That's what makes them good. A lot of stuff they throw at you on third down.
Ball.
Wright's first catch goes for 8 and that much needed first. Take the handoff and throw left side. And that's Diggs, who falls down after making the grab. Gain for 9.
Diggs going to run up and run a stop route. That's like a deep kind of out hitch, comebacky kind of thing, and just goes up there and kind of gives a little push off.
2nd and 1 at the 49.
We're outside.
Here's Keenum going back to that left side again to Thielen with Worley on him. Nothing there. 3rd and 1 coming up. So a little moment of adversity here for Minnesota. 3rd down coming up, and that's something Case Keenum's very familiar with. In many ways, he's felt like his whole career he's had to fight back these challenges, and as he told us last night, it all adds up. It makes you who you are.
You're right, and they do. And
here it is, 3rd and 1. Murray has the first down, stays on his feet, and refuses to get thrown down by Coleman. And takes it down to the Panthers 40.
Boy, and they just run right at you.
They're going to go hurry up here, Tony.
Yeah, they're going to try and change the pace, and it's really a great cut by Murray to kick it backside because they have numbers front side. Carolina did.
Keenum across the middle to Murray. Pickup of only about 3. That is Kuechly with the big boom hit. So Pat Shermer is the offensive coordinator, and he's going to be probably a very highly sought after head coaching candidate in the offseason. But you know, his coaching tree, it goes with Andy Reid, it goes with Chip Kelly, and he knows all about changing tempos during the body of a game.
Yeah, and you know, Chip Kelly kind of did a little bit of stuff where it's like one word, you can have everybody do the same thing. You play multiple positions and get up and run the plays, and so that still has an effect on this offense. He wants that quarterback up there early at the line.
2nd and 8. Again, steps up, takes off, and is dragged down from behind by Captain Munnerlyn. And it'll be 3rd and about 2 coming up.
5-man rush, pressure off the edge by Munnerlyn. And you see all game, Keenum has really been the focal offensive point of creating the big plays with his legs.
He had 102 yards rushing, did Keenum, on the season coming in, 102. He's got 40 today. Now his team faces another 3rd down. 3rd and 2.
Looking at the defense, trying to get the right play.
Got Kuechly standing over the center, but he backs off. Here they come. It's Peppers. Still doing it. Still bringing it at 37.
And now they might be out of field goal range. This is a really tough call. Mike Zimmer, you almost have to go for this. You see Peppers off the edge, and Hill doesn't get out of his stance. You see Reif just backed up. Ooh, you can see that there, and he's still down.
Yeah, their left tackle, who they went out and signed in the offseason. Same time that Khalil decided to go to Carolina, they gave Reif the 5-year, $58 million contract in Minnesota. And he's on his feet and going to walk off here.
You're going to see right behind Peppers that Peppers rolls right up on him. Now it's a big play, because now you're forced your left tackles out. If you wanted to go for it on 4th and 9, that's not a great feeling. So here comes the punt.
So they are going to punt, it appears, with Quigley. Only 16 punts on the season have been returned out of 48 coming in. Good directional punter, and look, that's what we're talking about, as it's down right there at the 2-yard line by Kearse. Beautiful 37-yard punt. Not a good sign for the Viking faithful, is Riley Reif is being carted inside. Meantime, big defensive series coming up for the Vikings. After that punt by Quigley, was down to the 2. Rhodes, who was dinged on the last series, is back out there. And this play brought to a halt. They'll move the football back to the 1.
False start, offense number 82. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That's also bad because Carolina, that was their play they had coming out. Now they got to come up with another one from the 1.
By the way, Thursday, Denver and Indianapolis. You can see that on NBC, NFL Network, and Amazon Prime Video. Of course, New Orleans and Atlanta tangled on Thursday night this week with the Falcons winning. That helped the Panthers cause a little bit. Oh, look at this tackle right at the goal line and able to get it out. That was Joseph who hit Stewart dangerously close to a safety.
That's why it's difficult. They ran the same play. They went to the other side, and this is why that play was huge on 1st down, because Minnesota knew what blocking scheme was coming. So up front, they got to shoot the gaps, know where they were at. Really fortunate for Carolina to get out of the end zone.
Boy, Linval Joseph has made a number of plays today. Now 2nd and 11.
Now they got same formation, everything. They have to play action here, don't they? I mean, this is the same exact formation look.
Just a quarterback keep trying to get some real estate. Newton for a yard or 2.
Yeah, you're just trying to get out of there. You felt uncomfortable, and that's the most protected formation you can get in football right there.
A minute to go in quarter number 3, which has moved along rather rapidly with the Panthers' opening drive of this quarter going the distance, and then the quick takeaway on the fumble, and that led to a field goal.
Well, here we go. See what kind of pressure package. I don't suspect they're going to come after him with much here. They're just going to try and play the quarterback stuff and the man. But if they do, you can...
3rd and 9 from the end zone. The pass down the field. Incomplete and no flag.
See Rhodes back in the game there, and they try a double move outside. Protected up. It's a safe call by Carolina, and there's no penalty there. You're going to see the ball's overshot, and Rhodes will put his right down here. You'll see him put his hand right there on the shoulder. That's why you get a little booze, but it's just uncatchable way over the head.
So Minnesota has had 12 kick return touchdowns since 2011. Of course, they had Cordero Patterson here as well, but Sherrills has had 5 career returns, including one here last year. Velarde's punt drives him back to the 41. Does he have a chance? He gets past a wave. He's going down the sideline, and Sherrills is finally tripped up inside the 30, and there is no flag on the field. So the big return, the decision to punt on 4th and 9, the great effort by Quigley to get it down to the 2.
That's what happens when you got a great
stand.
Defense. It's a nice call. And look at, you'll see just right here, you thought there could have been one, but it was a good play by Minnesota. And this gets them back in it. This drive right here, Carolina needs to hold them. They're right back in the same spot again. Minnesota needs to go score. We're going to see what happens.
That's a 29-yard return by Marcus Sherrills. And the Vikings get the football at the 30-yard line. Seconds to go in the 3rd.
20.
Going to run it to the right side, and that's Murray. In the backfield, he's taken down by Thomas Davis.
Well, the linebackers get to play downhill in this system. The D-line comes off the ball hard, and the linebackers get to finish it off.
1 quarter to go in Charlotte. Carolina leads it 24-13. You're watching the NFL on CBS. This offensive line for the Vikings is going to be a big part of this 4th quarter story. Can they do the job, Tony?
We're going to find out, because they got 4 new starters basically from when they started the year out there right now, and they're going to have to throw this ball a little bit to come back.
2nd and 13 to start the 4th. Keenum's pass, had to get rid of it. Addison was in on him quickly. Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, Jim, after that last drive, Kyle Rudolph was having his right foot looked at. They taped it up. He's back out there. But you mentioned the offensive line. Left tackle Riley Reef in the locker room right now with a left ankle injury. His return is questionable. You're right, 3 starters on the offensive line now out for the Vikings.
Hill, who started, thank you, Tracy, at right tackle for Reimers, who was out, has moved to left tackle. It's 3rd and 13 as Keenum is taken out. That's going to go down as a sack. Kuechly shoves him out of bounds.
This is a design quarterback run, and you'll see right here that he's supposed to roll out right and run up the sideline, but Kuechly says that's no chance of that happening. They're going to have to punt again after being right in that position.
I think they're going to field goal it here with Forbath.
Here we go. Yeah, you're right.
54 yards. It would make it a 1-score game if he can knock it through. Here's Forbath. Oh, that's ugly. I think Carolina got a hand on it.
Boy, if you're Forbath, you hope they got a hand on it, because that ball went left in a hurry.
It's called over the top.
Good golfing term there. We've seen before for some good. Here it is. Let's see. Does it get tipped?
I believe it was. I think it was maybe Vernon Butler.
This should be a better view.
I don't know.
There, yeah.
Well, his plant foot does slip a little bit.
It didn't. I think he pulled it and he knew it.
He had been 5 out of 6 this season from 50 and beyond. So a drive that started at the Carolina 30 ends up with a missed field goal, and they give it back at the 44 off the missed field goal. And that is Stewart banging ahead for about 6. So a big empty drive it was for Minnesota. You come out now because you lose Reef, though, with that offensive line. Now you had that triggered like 3 different moves at one time. You had to bring Hill back over from the right side. You had to slide then Searles over to right tackle from left guard. You had to bring Isadora off the bench, and that's probably a good reason why that drive went nowhere. Backed up, in fact.
I think you're exactly right.
2nd and 4. Catch for a first down.
Now every first down is huge because Minnesota needs the ball back, and it's not like they're going to go right down the field. Just a quick out cut. Wayne's a little too far off right there. Bird, sideline.
Bird with his 4th catch of this game for 35 yards. And there's the offensive line, makeshift, trying to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Well, and that's a big part. When you get a whole bunch of new guys in on the offensive line, communication is probably the most, under talked about part of what makes these good old lines in the league successful. Is they can communicate really quickly. They understand when a line stunts or when they're moving before the snap, and that's going to be the thing right now. They got to be able to communicate, and someone's got to talk to him. The center's out. He's out today.
You saw him right there, Pat Elfline, wearing the stocking cap, out with a shoulder injury. 2nd and 10. Newton slips for a moment, recovers, and now we'll throw it away, avoiding the sack.
Wow, they took a big hit on the sideline, but it probably is going to be okay because he took so long to throw that away. It's bang, bang, they're saying.
They slipped at first.
Not much downfield. He rolls right, and then let's see this. Oh, yeah, it's not as bad as it looked, I thought. Kendricks holds up a little bit. He doesn't. Cam kind of sold that one a little bit, I feel like. Kind of pushes him, and then Cam's not. Cam's a big guy. Yeah, not sure that could have taken him down like that.
Cam almost completed that pass to Julius Peppers. But he is hobbling. And a timeout is called by the Panthers. With 3rd and 10 on the way out of the break.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sonic. This is how you Sonic. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
Carolina blue skies. Next week we'll be in Pittsburgh for the game everyone's already amped up for. The Steelers hosting the Patriots. Both teams coming into the week 10-2 records, and they'll be jockeying for the #1 seed next week in our national doubleheader game. You look at the AFC playoff picture, Kansas City steamrolling over Oakland today with the Chargers hosting Washington later, but that was a huge game as far as that 3-way tie in the AFC West. Here's a 3rd and 10. Good throw over to Bird, and he's dragged down by Kendricks. Keeps him short of any kind of thoughts of a possible long-range field goal, and that'll mean Polardi can come out to try to do his thing.
Well, that's why they ran that play. They were trying to get about 6 yards, 5 yards, and if you break it and they blitz you, you can be out the gate. But Carolina was really hoping for about 4 or 5 more yards to have a shot at a field goal.
And Sherrills, who had that 29-yard return on the last punt. Standing at the 10. Fair catch. 28-yard punt. Got the job done, though, inside the 20. Minnesota football, but down 11 in the 4th. Julius Peppers already with a sack today. And he's still going strong. He's still got that quick first move.
That he does. 8.5 sacks coming into the game, and you saw it earlier. Hit the Keenum a couple times. Off the edge. And just these young guys who haven't seen a guy like this. He's having a big game today, and he's feasting now. He's on the sideline for the first down running play, and then they'll probably bring him right back in.
against that offensive line that right now is in question. You've got in Peppers and then Terrence Newman of Minnesota, two of the oldest defenders in the league. Only James Harrison older to take a defensive snap this year. And here we go, 1st and 10. Keenum and the Vikings need to start their rally now. Able to get it out, and to Thielen for about 7. For Thielen, catch number 4.
Boy, Thielen's a tough guy to cover. Great route runner. He's going to look back at 2 plays he could have had those 2 touchdowns on if they lose this football game.
Second and 3. Over to Diggs. Swings around the defender, Captain Munnerlyn, and ball comes out, but he falls on it.
Anxious to see if Carolina tries to keep everything in front and make them drive the field, if they stay aggressive like they have most of the game.
On 1st down. Caught by Diggs. Able to get away from the defender. And cuts upfield to about the 48. Got away from Bradbury, who made the play on the ball. It's a pickup of 22, the longest play of the game for Minnesota.
You see just the outcut and his, I mean, you can see his explosiveness. I mean, it leaps off the tape when you watch it and you see it there. He's still raw in a lot of ways too, and he's good.
Quick hit on right, but he holds on as Worley tries to jar the ball loose, but that's 4 consecutive completions by Keenum, and they've gone from the 13 to the Carolina side of the field.
So the corner right here's job, it's a blitz, and his job is to read the quarterback, and if this receiver comes outside, come off your guy, and he comes right off him. And it's like an in-between. It's a really well-coached defense there. Steve Wilkes got these guys playing hard, blitzing from everywhere.
On 1st down, they run it. And that's Murray, or 2nd down. It was 2nd and 5. Now 3rd and 2 coming up. So they move it quickly again from their own 13 to the 44, and they're not wasting any time getting back to the line. 3rd and a short 2. Keenum's pass to Thielen, able to duck under Kuechly for a moment, and finally Worley ends it. And that's down to the 29 on another 15-yard play. It looks like Thielen's hurt.
He is, and he runs a great slant route, and he gets up the field before Kuechly can get there and holds on to the ball, but something with his knee, it was like he was holding it.
Yeah, someone, it was Worley, landed on the back of his leg, but he's going to hustle to the sideline.
That's a good sign right there for Minnesota. That's a huge weapon for them. They cannot lose, especially at the end of this game.
Michael Floyd has come in for him.
Ooh, he's going back to the tent area.
First down, 29. And that's Floyd, who just came into the game. The former Cardinal and Patriot.
Big target now. You're going to be able to utilize him if you can get the right matchup. It's like having a tight end outside sometimes. You see him right here in the slot up top.
Keenum getting rid of the football quickly with this revamped offensive line. He's 6 for 6 on this drive. Oh, it's intercepted as it bounced off the chest of Diggs. And Bradbury has the theft.
Ball's high, off his hands, his head, Bradbury!
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
A little Carolina barbecue being served up by the family-run McCoy's Smokehouse here in the Queen City. Diggs beating himself up a little bit after that ball that was, yes, it was high, but it should have been caught. There have been some drop pass issues today that have really done damage to Minnesota. Here's Newton, going to keep it. Going to keep it and find some open room for a moment. And it's a gain of about 5. These are difference makers, these plays.
Missed opportunities for Minnesota today. The big seam route early in the game changes it. The touchdown to Thielen before half, and then the other one just hold on at the end of it. And then right there, Diggs coming back in the game. It's a high ball. Yes, it's tough, but you can't bobble and let it go right to the defender. That's, look at that, first 12 games, 5 dropped, 4 today.
It's amazing.
Carolina opportunistic. That's the way they've won over the years, and they definitely are doing that today.
Yep, 3 giveaways by the Vikings after not turning it over the last 3 games before. Stewart on 2nd and 5 is stopped after a gain of about 2. And will he be the first to pass the century mark on this Minnesota defense? We thought it was a foregone conclusion early in the game. He's at 95 now on 13 carries.
Well, I can tell you Minnesota's going to load up the box right here, and they're not going to let Cam Newton, or they're going to attempt to not let him run this for a first down. If you're Carolina, you want some sort of little pitch, something, a throw, something else.
Here we go. What's Gizmo? What's Gizmo? What's
3rd and
Gizmo?
2.
Lefty. What's Gizmo?
Looks like a pass right now. He's changing the protection.
Looks around and nothing there. He's trying to find Fozzie Whitaker. Whitaker has only 7 touches this year on offense, 4 rushes, 3 catches. And that was the target for Cam on that play.
I don't love it there. I mean, I think you can just throw the ball to Greg Olsen here and move on. I mean, this is a pick route right here. See, he's supposed to kind of get a little bit on Kendricks, and that's just such a low percentage for there. And I know Cam, he was thinking he went with the coverage, and he saw it and he called that play at the line, but Olsen was open on the other side.
Here's Pilardi's punt to Sherrill. Makes the catch, tiptoes along the sideline, out of bounds near the 28. So 7 minutes left, down a couple of scores. Keenum coming back out. The Vikings' 8-game win streak in danger. 7 minutes to go and down 11. Keenum and the Vikings taking over at the 27 after the 45-yard punt by Pilardi. There's the throw over to McKinnon, and he's wrapped up by Munnerlyn after 5.
Starting to see Carolina get soft now. Now they're protecting the time, knowing it's a 2-possession game.
That's the first touch of this second half for McKinnon, who was really coming on in the second quarter.
We got a blitz from the top. Does he pick it up off the edge?
There's a completion again for the first to Diggs.
Keenum's done a good job getting the extra blitzer protected.
9 to Diggs, and that's his 6th catch for 64 yards.
They're going to need a big play at some point here. Some 25, something to get him up down the field fast.
That's to the backup tight end, Blake Bell. There's Rudolph, who got dinged in this half.
Carolina playing soft again, cover 2.
Down the middle, caught Thielen. Thielen breaks the tackle inside the 20. Adams is the only guy. No, Thielen takes it for the touchdown.
Wow! They're playing soft, they're playing cover 2. And he throws it right down the seam. Thielen, what a throw by Keenum, and Carolina can't let that happen. You got to carry the vertical. You're going to watch Thielen go right down the middle, and Kuechly just a little late to get there.
You wanted a big play? You got it, 52 yards, and now they're going to go for 2.
No reroute, and going for 2, yep.
All right, huge play right here to get it down to a field goal game with 5:36 to go.
See, they're putting it on the left hash. See that ball right there? They were going to the middle. That tells you want space for wide receivers over here to the right.
Keenum's pass caught by Bell for the 2. And just like that, the Vikings, in 1 minute and 27 seconds, traveled the 73 yards total, the 52 to Thielen, and they put up 8 on the drive.
It's a bust. You're exactly right. It's a bust. Adams has to get over there. They have 3 guys on 2 over there. The read should take you to the right, but the bust happens at Carolina, and they don't align correctly, and that gives up a wide open back pylon throw.
Boy, did that change things in a hurry.
We got ourselves a football game now.
How about Thielen shaken up on the previous series? And, you know, you weren't certain whether he'd come back or not. He does, and once he gets out there, bad leg and all, you know, the one that got injured on the previous series, he's able to take off, break tackles, and sprint to the end zone.
Well, the old Minnesota Vikings would not have continued to be this aggressive, or at least get quick touchdowns. They wouldn't have been able to do this kind of. I mean, now, Mike Zimmer told us we can win a game 30-28. We can win it 35-31. We couldn't have done that last year.
The other thing that Zimmer will tell you is about the high character guys he has on his team. He says it's like when they practice. I mean, they do everything hard. There's a lot of things a lot of coaches have to deal with. He says I don't have to deal with them.
They love football.
Coming up, the State Farm postgame show with JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights coming up on the State Farm postgame show. So again, the Vikings would claim the division with a win here, or if there were losses today by both Detroit and Green Bay. Now, Carolina with only 1 first down its last 4 drives.
For Carolina, you got to go with your best stuff. You got to get 2 first downs at least here on this drive. Minnesota, they're going to put all these safeties and people down here and make you throw the football to beat them.
Pass incomplete, thrown at the feet of Jonathan Stewart. A lot of folks in Philadelphia watching this game with great interest, as the Vikings and the Eagles have the matching 10-2 records. Philly and the Rams coming up later today out of the Coliseum. There are the Saints at 9-4. Atlanta watching this game with interest at 8-5.
Cam Newton's trying to take a look at the defense, seeing if they can run the ball a certain spot. And then they're going to try and look for McCaffrey on a lot of these.
Here's McCaffrey on the handoff. McCaffrey able to move a few bodies with him for about 5. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up.
Minnesota's game plan today has been to come out and really make them throw the ball outside. McCaffrey, they don't want to allow him one-on-one in space with a lot of option routes and different things. Zimmer's done a great job of really neutralizing that. And this specific play, you're going to see right there. There's McCaffrey.
The best 3rd down defense in the league needs to come up with a play.
He's one-on-one right now.
Cam throws, and it's intercepted. It's Sendejo running with it inside the 20, down to the 10, and tackled at the 6. My goodness, what a turnaround here in Charlotte. Off the hands of McCaffrey, and Andrew Sendejo picks it off, takes it to the 6.
And you're going to see Cam stand in. He has time, and the ball's a little high. And McCaffrey's running an option route, and he's wide open, and just the ball's a little high. It's just a touch in front of him. And you see him off his back foot. You see that? The ball's just out in front. It's when it's high and you out in front of you, the ball gets behind you. And look at Zim. Yeah! Cam knows that they had 2 opportunities. One there, one earlier on the 3rd down, the possession before.
The one he threw to Fozzie Whitaker.
Yes. That was a higher percentage play, this one was, but okay. Now it's time for Carolina's D to step up, or Minnesota. What are they going with?
1st and goal. Murray is the running back. Murray the ball carrier. And trying to drive everything as far as he can, able to get a hard-earned 1 out of it.
The implications of this in the NFC are huge all the way around. This has #1 seed.
Yep.
This has division titles.
This has all kinds of permutations in the NFC South. Yes, you're right. I mentioned the Eagles watching with interest. How about Atlanta and New Orleans? We know they're watching.
I bet you New Orleans is watching, and they played on Thursday, right?
Nope, and Atlanta, yeah.
Sean Payton's out here probably jumping up and down right now.
2nd and goal. Here's Keenum looking in zone, and it's knocked down at the last moment by Bradbury. Diggs was the target.
And Keenum with the ball thrown behind him. He's open. Diggs with a great route. Watch him go to the sideline, go up the field like it's a fade, and go right back to the front. The ball should be over here. The ball should be over there. Keenum's got to throw it out in front. It allows Bradbury
Hit his elbow, actually.
to get an elbow on it, and he knows it. He knows it.
3rd and goal. 3rd and goal from the 6.
They're great on 3rd down. They're great since the bye week in the red zone. Carolina's got Luke Kuechly right there in the middle.
Here's Keenum in trouble. Keenum wrapped up and taken down by Short. And now the Vikings will try the field goal to tie it.
And you're going to see Short comes right up, and he's up on the right guard on Berger, and he just gets him, swims him, and Keenum with no time to go through the progression. See right there.
Oh. 27 yards for Kai Forbath.
He hooked his last one a lot.
This is half the distance of that one. From 27, Forbath's kick. It is good.
Well, if he wasn't going to make that one, that was going to be tougher. This is a game.
Tie game with 3 minutes to go as the Vikings put up 11 points in a 2-minute and 29-second span.
There's Zim. He likes the kick. Tie game. So you got 3:07. Cam's getting the ball back. You got 2 timeouts. You have a ton of time. You don't love to just drop back on every play against this defensive coordinator, head coach Zimmer, and this defensive front. So I'd stick with their offense. Stick with the philosophy. I'd come out with a play action, a bootleg to try and get 15 yards in the first play, and then you can just play ball as if the time doesn't matter. You have all the time here. You just need one chunk play early.
Forbath's kick could be returned, but it won't be. Bird takes the knee. So again, Carolina's last 5 drives, they've picked up only 1 first down, and they had the giveaway on the last series. It's allowed Minnesota to at first stay in the game and then to get back into the game with this flurry here in the last 2.5 minutes. There's a kind of a projected target line for Gano, who's been excellent this season, including a game winner at the wire at New England. Minnesota's downfall today, if it doesn't end up being their way, is their failure to produce touchdowns in the red zone.
Here we go. Yeah, you're exactly right. They're going to come back.
First down, the toss. McCaffrey for 5. Ridden down by Joseph. One game-winning drive in the 4th quarter or overtime the last 2 seasons, and that was the one I mentioned up at Gillette Stadium week 4 that led to the 48-yard winner by Gano with no time remaining. Second and 5. Newton. Wide open. Newton! Inside the 40, inside the 20. And then has it all the way to the 6 as Waynes tried to strip it away. 62 yards, Cam Newton.
Well, you're going to see right here, you know who's designed to stop the run from the quarterback? Andrew Sendejo, and he's one-on-one with Cam Newton, and Cam says, you're not making that tackle, and what a play.
2-minute warning.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Here to help life go right. And by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart.
Here's the situation. 2 minutes to go. 1st and goal from the 8 for Carolina in a tie game. Minnesota has all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
Got to stop Cam Newton and the quarterback runs as they just did. Similar formation. You might do the same thing. Fake the handoff or give it to him.
There's the handoff. Down to the 5 for Stewart. And the Vikings called the timeout. Again, the State Farm postgame show comes up right after this game. All the scores and highlights. We've got an overtime game going in a snowstorm in Buffalo between the Bills and the Colts. Amazing scene there. You'll see all the highlights after the game on the State Farm postgame show. Case Keenum saying, just, hey guys, give me a chance. Leave me some time to do something.
Well, if everything goes right here, Minnesota will get 3 stops. They'll get the ball back roughly with 1:35, 1:40 to go. And hopefully they're down 3 if you're a Minnesota fan. For Carolina, you just want to score a touchdown no matter when it is.
2nd and goal. Stewart down to the 1. He has a 100-yard game with that carry and a timeout called by Minnesota. The first to rush for 100 on this defense this year. Of course, they've now, because of the Newton 62-yard dash, they've rushed for 220 on the Vikings, a team that doesn't allow that. They're 2nd best against the rush.
Yeah, this has been, I mean, the big run earlier in the game. Otherwise, it's been neutralized a little bit. But then you got the big one from Cam Newton, and everyone's like, yeah, but that one play. Well, those matter. Those are real yards and real game. And give credit to Carolina, a couple of great designed runs today. Now, this play right here, 3rd down and goal. Minnesota has a timeout. To me, it's whatever you think is your best play from the 1. If it's a run because you have great talent in this area up front, you do that. If it's a pass, I'd do it here. You don't have to run it for time or any of those purposes.
All of Carolina's touchdowns today have come on 3rd down. Here they are, 3rd and goal. Stewart! The ball came out! The ball came up. They rule it a touchdown on the far side. They say he broke the plane. And there's Mike Zimmer right on the goal line with a bird's eye view saying, what's that all about? Ruling on the field was touchdown.
I know. I think he broke the play. No, we're going to see. It's a risky move putting that ball out, but a big decision. Ooh, that's over there.
Look at it get knocked out by Anthony Barr. By the way, this is how Stewart scored a touchdown in Super Bowl 50, that identical way. Up and over with the ball reaching out. And he has his first 3-touchdown game of his career, 129th game. And he has a 3-touchdown game for the first time ever. It's confirmed, and now the extra point. Adds it. 7-point lead with 1:47 to play.
Carolina did their job. They run power to the left side. Stewart goes up, hangs in the air a long time, and gets it over. Cam knows how big this game is.
So the Vikings have plenty of time, though, and they have 1 timeout. Here's Newton, who had, before that run, had been held to only 13 rush yards on 7 carries, and then he breaks it for 62 yards to set up the touchdown.
If you're a Carolina fan, that was a big-time drive for your season right there. And Minnesota needs Case Keenum to come up big. He's going to have 1 timeout in a minute 40-ish. If they return this, minute 47. If not, which is a lot of time. That 1 timeout is huge. That's bigger than people know.
Here's Gano sending it deep. Sherrills is dangerous. He's going to take it from 5 deep. And he only gets to the 21.
Now remember what you tell me at the end of the half. Who's the #1 scoring team?
The last 2 minutes of the first half, which is what similar situation.
2-minute situations.
Except you got a 4-down territory, 4-down football here the rest of the way, but they're the best.
They're the best at the end of the first half. Now the second half, it's still 2-minute type situations. That tells you they're very good in getting in and out of the huddle, at executing plays and having guys who can get open versus man coverage, because they're going to see it on this drive. Carolina probably plays soft for a play, and then they probably end up getting more aggressive after about 2 plays, 3 plays.
Here they come. Keenum taken down at the 16. Short, got him again.
Electing not to use the timeout. This is Steve Wilkes, vastly different play caller. Same system, but different than McDermott. He's coming after you in big situations.
Set him back 5. They mark it at the 17.
He blitzes him again.
Gets rid of it in the area of Diggs. And this, again, this rebuilt in the middle of the game offensive line is not ready for this onslaught.
No, not with that. I mean, this ball needs to get out of your hands quick. If they're sending pressure, this needs to be quick game. Slants. See Keenum getting hit, and he's going to continue to get hit with this offensive line if it's a 5-man rush. 3rd and 16. Think about getting half it back as a quarterback. You don't try and get the 16 here. It's 4-down territory. They're coming after him again.
Quick release, incomplete. Trying to connect with Treadwell, and now it's 4th down.
Treadwell, it's a hot route. He turns for the hot and just got to catch that football.
Well, that's 5 drops now, right? Matching the season total for the team.
You know Steve Wilkes is coming after you. It's a big situation, right? He has to come after you. That's what he does.
Here we go. 4th and 16. Keenum's pass. Incomplete. In the area of Thielen. Coleman knocked it down, and Ron Rivera's Panthers take over with just a minute to play.
Oh, they had a chance. Thielen goes up the seam, and you see the ball is just right there on the other side of him. I give a lot of credit to Case Keenum for throwing this football. I mean, that could be intercepted easily. And he's got under pressure. It's not a high percentage, but it's 4th down. You can't take a sack there. It's selfish to take a sack. You throw that football even though there's possible of an interception. He did that there. And give Carolina credit. Stepping up huge with the game on the line. 4 straight blitzes by Steve Wilkes.
So now just 1 timeout for Minnesota. Kneel down once. Quick timeout called. We're going to have bonus coverage coming up for you after this one ends. But including this one, this may end up in a tie. It's almost impossible to move the football up in Buffalo. There's almost a foot of snow on the ground. They can't clear the field fast enough in that one. So you'll see some of this zaniness after this one ends, but Julius Pepper's still helping his team. How about Short making plays? Addison. Again, they're without Charles Johnson, who's serving a 4-game suspension, but this defense coming up big here today. And Ron Rivera and his bunch about to improve to 9-4 on the season.
Boy, I tell you, if with this win by Carolina today, this almost makes you feel like 10-6 isn't a guarantee in the playoffs.
That's right.
I mean, somebody might get to 10-6 and miss the playoffs in the NFC.
And they've got 2 home games coming up behind this one. Again, first leg of a 3-game homestand, and that would be Green Bay and Tampa Bay coming in. So Minnesota drops back to 10-3.
So you got Carolina at 9-4, and you see Atlanta, who's 8-5.
Tell you what's looming large is a Carolina-Atlanta match, Week 17.
What about that Green Bay? They're 6-6, and Aaron Rodgers is coming back. And I tell you right now, if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, they need that win today. I know they're in that dogfight with Cleveland. Got the Cowboys winning 2 games in a row. Carolina came in, needed to run the football today, Jim, and they needed to make a couple big splash plays, and they did that.
Minnesota's 8-game win streak comes to a close. Carolina takes it 31-24. And let's go to James Brown in New York.